Welcome back to the Liquid Late Nights podcast. We're gonna boldly go where no one has gone before because we have the technology, we have the will. Apparently, we found some money. Let's do this thing. Um,
Back commodes and all.
that's CD. I'm Mr. A. So we're gonna start off with some tech talk this week. I don't know. Wow, we're crazy on this. Uh, Apple turns 50 this month. Apple computers or Apple. It's now just Apple. It's just a brand. Um, Influential American company in the garage, one of those Silicon Valley in the garage kind of situations.
What was the
Uh,
first thing that Apple put out? It wasn't a Macintosh. That was later on. It's almost something like dot matrix or something, right? It wasn't. It was. It's for hobbyists, correct?
yeah, but all those early computers were all those early like HP and I'm trying to think, not Dell because Dell came later, but HP for sure, and all these other companies you never heard
The
of were
one
all
that
hobbyists.
the guy from Texas sold. Oh gosh, trying to run for president. Can't think of his
No,
name
Russ
now.
Perot, Texas
Yeah,
Instruments.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Altair and all that, all those were hobbyists because nobody but guys who were who like to twinkle with things could get these things working. Plus, they were super expensive for the time. Um, a couple $1,000, 70s money. That's real money. Um,
I
Steve
just thought it was
Wozniak.
awesome. I said, well, they was show, I watched a piece this morning. And since I woke up too early this morning, so I'm watching stuff. And then it's Apple. I said, because I remember because I had a Macintosh with a Macintosh at about 92, maybe 91. But it was just, there was not a lot you could do with it. Not a lot. I couldn't, maybe I didn't. It was slow. It was cool to say you had one. I guess it was that. I was better off with a key puncher or ad machine or something.
I mean,
It
but they were like
was
one of the first with like the graphical
yeah,
interface, like you
yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
see the things and click on
You could
there.
maybe do Pac-Man on it or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, it was as with all these things, once you get past the hobbies, you got to figure out a way for the business to use it, how you get
Yeah,
business people to
practical.
buy it,
I
so
remember a
you can
woman
get some
used to
spreadsheets
be
and
a
stuff.
part of my team, and she was wrong, but I let her talk because she talked, and she's like, the whole idea of a computer in the home, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I'm like, okay. She was cute, so I didn't want to,
Oh
but
Lord.
she was so. This is like 94, maybe 95, and like, but she dismissed the whole thing. A personal computer because the concept of stuff. We were using them at work, right? We had
Hmm.
intranet and stuff like this. This is mid 90s, and now why would somebody want a personal computer at home? Before Windows, it had to be no, it was before Windows 95 came. Windows 95 came in 95, so that's different. So, but Apple was like the Mac, and then then I like the story because they start doing well, and the board start making money. The board gets smart, and they kick Steve Jobs out of his own company.
Well, Steve Jobs was being a pain in the ass.
But he's Steve Jobs.
He was still a pain in the ass,
What does
as
that
as
mean?
as most creative guys are, as most people who kind of see outside the box and kind of can see where our industry is going. He was a pain in the ass, and sometimes his ideas were were pains in the asses. Like try to do the Lisa, you try to do too much with that computer, and he ended up with the Mac. I was listening to a thing on that. They ended up with the Mac as kind of was a side project, and they're like, oh, they'll be all right. All the money was going to Lisa until they figured out Lisa wasn't going to work, and he turned his eyes over on the Macintosh and kind of trying to push too much
Yeah,
into the
but
Mac.
still, so you take the company?
He got it
So
back.
let me tell you, they kicked him out from they take this deal over the board, kicked him out. He still had made money from it. He had plenty of money from it. So he leaves Silicon Valley, goes to Los Angeles and gets the create Pixar, start Pixar,
He
the
he
animation.
he gets into or starts a company called Next or
Yeah,
NXT,
yeah,
and part of that group becomes Pixar, and then he
yeah.
sells that off to, and they spin that off and makes money off of that, and he still has money with
They
that.
were so
Yeah,
successful. Then 12 years later, what did the Apple people have to do? Come and beg him back.
yeah. And
So
then
he's
he
like,
kills
yeah,
all the because they overdid what they're trying to do. They were not. Apple was always more of the niche if that the creatives people liked it, people it just wasn't mainstream. But they tried to be mainstream, and they were going to run
They
the
tried to be
company into the
mainstream too
ground.
early.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so because Microsoft had locked everybody up already. So because what's it, Bill Gates was a gangster. That's a whole nother story. But so and so he comes back, right?
Mhm.
Then he does the Mac or with the Mac, the iMac or the iPod came first. Is the iPod?
No, he comes back. He kills everything.
Yeah.
He does the like candy coated uh, Mac Mac laptop, and it might have been called MacBook at that point. But that candy coated one, oh, sorry, candy coated Mac, which was like a big ass just all in one
The
in
iMac.
all the colors. Yeah, and then he does the
I
MacBook,
know
and then
one of those
yeah,
fathead
yeah,
things.
that was.
Yeah.
But it was
It's
cool, and people were like, "Oh, this is fun and funky, and it's not boring." Because at that point, Windows and Intel and all of them had just made they had just made all these the other guys who rolled up. It just made it boring. It was just boring gray boxes of gray. They're in the homes, but they were boring.
No, it can happen because it's around the same time because when Windows first, because I remember we was excited when Windows 95 was, but that's Windows 95, but then the gangster got his deal in because you couldn't have no product unless you put his stuff in it. That's a whole nother story. But let's
Mm-hmm.
stick to some. So the next was the iPod. So iPod was like what? Windows and then the iMac. This is still in the 90s, but this is like in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
I
after
think
he
the
came
first
back,
iPod I saw hey man, it have been about around 2000, 2001, something like that.
that sounds right.
I never had
Because
one because I had no music, but I wouldn't. I just stood down long enough to try to figure out how to transfer my music onto the iPod to have it. So I was still
2001.
spinning my CDs and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, those first ones, the only way you could put menus on it was you had to have an Apple, you had to have a Mac, because there
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
a Windows version, because he was locking them out. And so
yeah.
all of a sudden he's building market share on that side. It's like, oh, you want the cool music player? You want to do that thing? You need to get it. You need to get it. You need to buy in on Apple.
But that's what everybody
So
did. 45. They think was smart enough to just let's just make everybody's stuff compatible. We all make a lot of money instead of not locking each other out.
yeah, but he also went to the music companies, made the deals. They didn't want to sell their stuff for 99 cents. They just finished, bankrupting Napster and LimeWire and all these guys that were, listen. I got a lot of free music in the late '90s and early 2000s. I mean, I still went and bought CDs, but I got a lot of music. And a lot of people did through those services that weren't, they weren't paying nobody. And he went to the record companies and made those deals to get it on the iPod at 99 cents a song. And the record companies were like, we can't make any money about this. And eventually figured out that you could, and then it went a whole nother direction. But he made those deals. He said,
So
you want to be on
Napster,
this product.
because now I remember I never had Napster. I just heard about it. I don't know if they ever made any money.
No, but it wasn't about making money for them. They had made this product, kind of made it out there, and it just kind of became this thing. They got sued because they made this product. Everybody was stealing all these products. The record
Yeah, I
industry came
remember
after
that
them.
because when you were
I don't know
when
where
you
they were
were
getting. They had got some money for but they weren't getting in revenue for anything. So I don't know what money they thought they were going to get. So that's what they just basically shut them down. They didn't have any money to give them.
I remember Napster because you guys were when you guys came out to LA it was like this like early 2000, 2001 something. Then so
Hmm.
Napster was rolling, people was streaming, but the stuff was there's no money in it. There was no cheese. You just
Yeah,
grab the stuff out the air. It's like you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. To put on something on any other thing that wasn't an iPod, because everybody was trying to build their own little MP3 player, but you had to put it on something.
Was that
You
before or
had
after
phones.
the whole .com thing crashed about 2000, 2001? Because everybody was
It was kind of in the middle there. It was kind of coming. It was kind of at the end there. I think the first one was like '99 started in, so a lot of people came out of there.
so Apple comes
Uh,
out with the first iPhone. What was that?
2002, maybe 2003,
Yeah, something
because
like.
I was working at that point. Yeah, 2007. Sorry, I was working for T-Mobile, and that first one was exclusive to AT&T. Which means Verizon, the big boy, didn't get it. T-Mobile, the little guy, didn't get it. Sprint didn't get it, and they wanted $4.99 on a contract for I'm pulling up $4.99 for 4 gigs and $5.99 for an 8 gig on a 2-year AT&T contract. That was subsidized, and
Yeah, but it was tough right now because I knew people who because I was rolling a Blackberry. I was
Yeah,
everybody was basically
yeah,
in the
BlackBerry,
Blackberry world
BlackBerry.
then.
Yeah,
But I knew a couple of people that because I was working I was with BMW then. This is like yeah. So and I knew one of my staff had I had a brand new, but she didn't know she looking at the screen. She didn't know what the hell to do with it. She couldn't
yeah.
even
No,
get
I
from
know.
point A to point B. You know what I mean?
But people lined up for that thing, and even though they didn't know what they were doing, they knew they wanted it, and that was the magic. Because
It
that
took a
that
while
press
to
conference was
adjust to it. I read
a world.
something when it first came in, the first one was coming out, and the the screen was plastic. And when Steve got to it, he said, "No, no, 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 no." He sent him back. It was 6 months before the launch, and he said, "No, no, it need to be glass," which is smart because the plastic would have been bad. So they had to go 6 months, find some company to make a glass thing with it, and then for the rollout, and they got it done though.
Yeah,
Because the glass thing was, they shatter every now and then, but you can get them fixed. You know what I mean?
every now and then, every time.
Dude, I
Um,
never. I think I'm on my one, two, fourth iPhone. I think I even broke two.
yeah. So some people know what to do. I would see them all the time, but not for a while because T-Mobile
Because
was the
people
last
have
one to get them.
because
No,
people
no
have,
clue.
yeah, exactly. It's like when I was
There's
doing it for a minute. People come in here, their phone and dropped in the toilet. You pull your big butt down and had your phone in your back pocket and forget it. It drops over in the toilet. What's wrong with you? Yeah, that's another story. Um,
there's a great scene in that BlackBerry movie that came out where they're all standing watching the presentation for their first iPhone, and the CEO of BlackBerry, one of the co-CEOs, the engineering guy, Mike
mhm.
Lazarus, is looking at go and looks at his BlackBerry, looks at his things like, but where's the keyboard? What? Because he didn't know they were gone. They
Yeah,
were gone like three. He didn't realize that was the moment that
that
it
was the
was
deal.
not going to go well.
And BlackBerry and a BlackBerry was the deal because I think over the years I had three, maybe four. And
Yeah,
I got mad with them because the last one I had, the 8900, they was trying to do some different things, but it kept freezing and doing different things with it. The
it
one
couldn't keep
before
up.
that, yeah, and I got pissed and I finally got the
Hmm.
iPhone. I think I got the five. I still
Hmm.
got it in here someplace. I had it for 15 years, whatever. I forgot the password, so I can't break into it, but I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
worth some money someday. Huh?
I was still on it. Give it to the museum. I was still on
Thank you.
since I was still with T-Mobile. I was still on what they had. They still hadn't had the iPhone. So by the time I got to that point where my BlackBerry was like, it can't do it anymore, I went to Samsung as an Android. Well, I had an Android on the side. I had the first G1, the first Android phone on the side, and I had a Samsung I got in finally was like the Galaxy 2 or whatever. And I officially switched over and was like, I can't do it anymore, BlackBerry. I can't do it anymore.
So the iPhone rules the world, correct? He
iPhone
killed
was wrong.
Motorola. They killed. It was a lot because
They
the
they they
Nokia.
they
Because at one
changed.
point I had a Nokia. I
Mhm.
had what's a Nokia flip phone I had, and then when Motorola came out with the Razor in 2005. I had a
Yeah, they
Razor.
were hot
No,
for a minute.
matter of fact, before I got my first iPhone, I went from a BlackBerry to a Razor
Hmm.
because it was so cool. The commercial was like cool as hell. It was slick and stuff, and
Hmm.
it's just, but it
They,
didn't.
they were
Yeah,
overcharging for that too,
yeah, he killing you
making
for it.
special editions, and then the iPhone came and just they killed everybody. Yeah, there's nothing. It changed the industry. It changed the industry. It made people go out of business. It made people merge. It made
There are people
Google
who
make
will not.
Android to come after them.
There are people who will not do iPhone because they've got some kind of thing against. It's like people who hate Kobe Bryant. They will not do Lakers. It's just that because I do Android. Why? I had iPhone. Oh, really? Anyway,
Yeah, they're locked in.
iPhone,
They're locked in.
Apple Watch. I don't know did the Apple Watch ever really take off. It's a niche thing.
It's a niche thing, but it's still popular. And again, if you are already locked in on the Apple ecosystem, you're going to end up with it because it's the only watch. You can't get a Samsung watch. Samsung watch won't work with it unless you get like some sort of real basic fitness
I
tracker.
gave up on
You get the
watches
Apple
because so why would
watches.
I need a watch? I got the phone giving me time on. I used to have I still have them, but I was working professional. I want a nice watch on my arm. I don't want a gizmo on my arm. I want like a Breitling or something like that, a nice watch, a
Yeah,
Vector or something. You know what I mean?
yeah. You,
What's the other
yeah.
one? The
There's
really
still
expensive
some
one?
nice watch brands making some nice watches that run Android because that's, that's the thing. The world. There's way more stuff that runs Android now than runs Apple, but Apple still is the gold standard. That's what everybody wants to be. Samsung's trying. apes. They make fun of Samsung because Samsung will ape Apple, and then Apple will ape them back, and what their phones will look like, what their earbuds will look like. Because this is what people like. This is what the people, style, the influencers, all these people. So even if you don't have it, you want to get it. All these like internationals I would always encounter, trying to get it. They're coming here to buy iPhones. They're not coming here to get Samsungs or get anybody else most of the time, unless they want something real cheap. unless they, cheap, you know what I'm
I
saying?
think I'm on my one, two. I think I'm on my fourth or fifth iPhone.
Yeah. But the App Store, they taught people them paying for software again.
Yeah. But back in the
The
day, I think
MacBooks.
I owned four Blackberries too over the years.
Hmm?
No, wait a minute. I had the 8700, 88, and the 80. No, the 8900 made me leave them because the 8900 was not good. The 88 was a bad ad, but it was like a big. It's almost like a brick phone.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
anyway.
I
But
still
anyway,
buy
I
them
just thought
phones
this
like
was
that.
cool. If people who, because there's people who don't, they think that iPhone was already here. I was talking to at one time at a Christmas deal with the family a couple of years ago, and a younger person in the family, he married into the family. He ain't that smart, but the guy was like, he thought we always had. I said, "What are you talking about? This stuff didn't exist 20 years ago." There are people, young people, who think there's always been like this. I said, I was still going to the phone books and stuff, using my phone card, make phone calls. If you had a phone like in the early 90s, right? They had these backpacks because I was giving them away one time for a sales promotion. It's a phone, a mobile phone, but it actually had the battery pack in a on your back and you carry a suit. You ever seen those, right?
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend who had one who was in high school. I don't know who he was trying to call. I think it's what he's supposed to call his mom. I don't even
It
know why
just
he had
looked
that.
cool for having it. And
Yeah.
people forget that, come on. And then Macrotech, the Motorola company, the Macrotechs, the ones that had all those antennas that always broke and stuff like that. You forget about it and you sit down, you broke. So now you got no reception because you got no antenna. So anyway, the iPhone was, hey man, they probably got that on Artemis too.
I mean, they got something. They're taking
Anyway,
all the great
50
shots.
years, it's to make a big difference, but I guess younger people don't understand what it was like that. From 1976 to now. 1976, we had nothing. We had some, you keep some coins in your pocket, go to phone, make a call, hoping you didn't get disease on your ear from everybody been using their phone, but that's not there.
So yeah,
Congratulations, Steve
congratulations.
Jobs,
You have all the
Steve
money.
was and Steve Wozniak, right? The two Steves.
It's your Steve's. Um, so we're going to transition over a little bit to the other big tech story of this week. Artemis 2 lifted off last week on our episode that you, of course, will see here before this one drops. um, and they've officially, on the way back now. Splashdown is on Friday. They did their loop. They've gone further than any human has at this point, which beats the record Apollo 13 did, because when Apollo 13 had its mishap, and had to skip landing on the moon, it had to go around the backside to start its try to do the loop plan that used the gravity to slingshot back. So, but they've gone out further. I think they beat it by 4,000 kilometers or something like that. Like, they went out to that point and kept going. They got some great shots, some great Earthrise shots, kind of new to ones they got from like Apollo, I think 8, they said, and you download it to your phone, you put it on your wallpaper. I got this all up. It's very exciting. It's a very exciting time. They did have some issues, and I think they still have issues with get their email going with Outlook. For some reason, they have Outlook's running like the two things, because of course it is. It's a Microsoft world. Um, they do not have Apple computers on that thing.
Right. They should have. That's what I start.
Probably. But I think it's exciting. I think when people who are paying attention are real excited about it. I know we have thousands
I
of
can
people
tell
out on the
you was
coast.
excited.
Yeah,
Stuff you were
let's do
supposed
some
to.
shit.
I
Let's
was
do
too.
some
I
shit.
was too busy dodging Chinooks and Blackhawks. Huh?
We'll deal with that later. um,
Drones